Okay, welcome back. This is where we ended last time. Okay, so now we are interested in the 3D modeling, 3D representation of these sections of the beam, of the column, and the slab. So the 3D representation is supposed to come out in this cyan space that we are seeing here. Okay, that's where it is supposed to be shown. So how are we going to go about it? Well, we'll just have to create a function that will do that for us. So the very first 3D that I would like us to draw is for the beam, this T-beam. Okay, that's the very first element I would like us to draw. So for that, I think we'll have to separate again our windows into two. Yes, so we clear. Okay, good. So we have to look for the coordinates of all these points, and you'll see that on this drawing the coordinates are not indicated. Okay, that's because I want us to do that all together. So the first thing we'll do is to create a function, not a callback, but a function that could actually be a callback. No, but a function. Okay, we'll create as a function that we will call 3D representation. Okay, so this function will just help us to draw our 3D element. So we'll call it, let's just call it 3D draw. Okay. Oh, a function cannot start by are you saying that it cannot start by a number? That nomenclature is not correct. Okay, so I'll inverse it. Draw 3D. And good. So we have three different cases again here, right? We always have to take that into consideration. We have the case when we are in beam design. And this is a beam design. Anyway, beam. When we are in the column. And when we are in slab. Okay, so let's start. We are in the case of beam. So listen, to draw this 3D, what I'll use is the patch function. As simple as that. Okay, I'll simply use the patch function. And the patch function, there are two main parameters I'll need to indicate. I'll need to indicate the chord, that is the vertices. The vertices here are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and all the like. And I'll need to indicate the faces, okay, which are these surfaces that actually draw my 3D element. Okay, so the faces are drawn from a collection or from the connection of vertices, okay, as you may have learned. So let's start with the vertices. The vertices will store it. Let's change the name for now. We'll call it vert, okay, to say vertices. Now vertices is a matrix that contains the coordinates of all your vertices, okay, in the order in which your vertices are appearing on your drawing. Okay, so the first line will have the coordinate of my first vertex. The second line will have the coordinate of my second vertex, the third line, third vertex, and so on and so forth. Okay, so can we create that matrix together? The obvious answer is yes. So here I'm looking for what? I'm looking for the coordinates of my first vertex. So we are in 3D now. So you will see the way I have the red indicates my reference point. Okay, so my origin is right there. You have the Y here, you have the X there, and you have the Z in the third direction. Why did I draw it this way? Because this is the way MATLAB will actually present it to us in 3D format, except we use view, of course. So let's keep it like that for now. What does it mean? It means my element 1 is at coordinate 0, 0, 0, right? So semicolon. Semicolon indicates that I'm going where? To the next line, okay? I have finished already with this particular line, with the first line, Okay, so the first column here represents the coordinate in x, the second in y, the third in z. Okay, and I finished with the first line. So the first line indicates the coordinates of my first vertex. Semicolon means I'm going to the second vertex now. Okay, so second vertex, what is it? I'm here. I've moved the distance following y, right? But following z and x, I did not shake, right? And what is that distance following y? Well, I have the distance here, h, from here right down to here, to the x-axis. Okay, so what will be the distance from 2 to my origin? It will simply be h, okay, minus hf. And what is h and hf? Well, h and hf are simply our joe. You remember joe, right? We'll have joe dot h, okay, minus joe dot hf. Are you seeing how the program will communicate? Okay, so this distance here will be what? Joe dot h minus joe dot hf. Okay, so I'll actually need to do something here. I think it will be good that for, okay, because we have up to 16 vertices, it will be better for us to create extra variables in order to store those things. I would not like to be writing joe dot h each time and things like that. So I will say h is equal to joe dot h. Okay, I will say hf. You can put all of that in one line, can still suffice. Okay, I will say hf is equal to joe dot hf. I will say b is equal to b dot joe dot b, sorry, joe dot b. Okay, I will say bw is equal to joe dot bw. Okay, what's left here? I have element, right? You remember I have this L distance here that I also need to save here, okay, because it will interact, it will enter into the coordinates of the elements that are behind following the Z. So I will have L to be equal to, and where is it stored? You remember this L here is the length of our beam, okay? This is the length of our beam, and it is stored in what? Length element, right? How do we write that length element? I've forgotten. Okay, length element. So it is stored in length. Actually, it seems that we could do things better up there. We could just initialize the length element to 3 instead of initializing it to 0, but it's okay. You can still change that. So it means that here I now have the freedom of, instead of writing Joe and all the like, I'll just say H minus HF, okay? That's all. So this distance here, are you seeing that it will be H minus HF? That will be for coordinate 2. Oh, that's following the y-axis. Are you seeing that? We first of all have a 0 following the x, then H minus HF is following the y, and then 0 again following z. Okay? What next? The third one now. The third one, we have moved a minus x distance, right? And what is that minus x distance? That minus x distance is, look at this. We have BW here, okay? So our T is symmetrical. It means the distance from here to here has to be equal to the distance from here to here. But the total distance of here to here will be what? Will be this distance B minus BW, okay? So we first of all have a B minus BW, which is the whole of that distance. Now, it is the whole of this distance plus this distance. Since the two distances are equal, right? This distance will be what? B minus BW divided by 2. Okay, so it will be this divided by 2. Come on, what is this? Divided by 2. Okay, and since it is going in the negative x direction, all of this will be minus, right? So following y, it is in the on the same height as 2 here, so we'll have our h minus HF as usual, and following Z will have 0. That will be for the third node. Okay, for the the phone is still at the same, Control C, Control V, at the same minus X, but this time around following Y, it has gone up towards to H, right? It has gone up to H, and following Z, it is still 0, okay? And for the fifth one, it is found on the other hand of the equation. You see that here 5 following X will be BW, right, plus this our quantity positive, okay? So we will have Control V. Oh, let me go down with this one, okay? Let me just go down with this one. So I will have BW plus this particular entity plus this. That will be my X, okay? Then my Y now will be the same H, okay? And my Z will still be 0. What about 6? 6, we will have the same X as 5, okay, but the Y will be what? Y will be the same Y as 2, so we will have H minus HF, okay, then we will have what? 0. So it's important to express it in terms of variable, okay, because these are data that are controlled by the user, not by you. So you are making sure that no matter the value that the user enters, it corresponds and it will always draw this T element. You are using variable in order to generalize the principle. Okay, so I'm talking too much already. Where are we? We are on 7 now, right? So 7 will be at the distance of X of what? Of BW simply, right? So we'll have BW and then the same H minus HF following Y, H minus HF, and then 0 for Z. And what is left? What is left is 8 for this particular plane, of course, for this particular plane in front here. We have 8 that is left, which will be BW following X, 0 following Y, and 0 following Z. Okay? So that was just for 8. Now we have to go to 10. So this is one of the importance of being organized in what you're doing. You will notice that I follow the particular trend in my numbering. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is like a rotation. And then I go to the next plane behind and I do the same thing. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay. So what has happened is as if I have translated all of these nodes here a distance of Z. So what I'll do here is I'll just have to copy all of these, okay, coordinates, and they are the ones that will repeat themselves here. Okay, the only difference now is that their Z coordinates, all of their Z coordinates will be L. So there was a translation following the Z axis. Okay, that is a method. It is my method. It is not the method. L, is there an L I've forgotten? L. Okay, so those are coordinates. We have gone past. So we'll continue from there. We have finished with all the coordinates of our T3D elements. We'll continue with the faces, and hopefully we will have to draw it. Thank you very much.